if you had been in the
That's
crowd,
a 30-year-old shirt right there, right?
that's pretty impressive.
Oh, that's right. We used to throw those in the crowd, huh?
Yeah, I was going to say, plug my computer in here. There we go. I was going to say, if you had been in the crowd 30 plus years ago, or 25 or whatever it is now, you would have got yourself one of those shirts or a sticker or a keychain or Jesus, I don't know.
Or
Probably
a
could have got
pitcher
your,
of beer.
yeah, you could have got yourself a free pitcher of beer. Chris had a way of getting people
Remember the one time I
involved.
did that? They were, yeah. And then the bartender's like, wait, you just can't give away random pitchers of beer. I was like, why not? He's like, well, because your shows are 18 and older. Oh, my bad.
Well,
So we had to tweak it. I forgot how we tweaked it, but we had to tweak it.
it was not only that, it was that the state of Arizona considered you an employee of the establishment. And in Arizona, you cannot drink if you are an employee of the establishment while the establishment is open for operation. That's Arizona state law. So what they were telling you was you personally can't buy them anything. That's why you had to send Nikki to do it or Carrie to do it or Greg or Tammy or Marty or whoever was there that night, that was helping us out.
Gotcha.
In Illinois, that's still not a law. You can drink while you're in the band or whatever, but yeah, that was the rule back then. It was stupid.
I did not know that. I was just trying to give people free beer, man.
And we did. We found a way around it.
That's cool.
But
yeah.
If you think about it, that's why you always had to have your beer and your shot before you went on stage, because we couldn't drink while we were on stage. We always had water or tea or.
Yeah, that's true. That's
right?
true. I wonder how big bands got away with that. Because big bands would have, beers on stage. It's like we saw Sammy Hagar years ago, and he had fucking tequila on stage. We saw Sammy and Dave on that tour, and Dave came out with a bottle of Jack.
Maybe when you're bringing that kind of money to the economy, they bend the rules a little bit. I don't know.
Right? That's a good point. It's quite possible.
Well, and it would also have to do with the fact of the size of the venue and that the venue's primary operation is not as a bar, it's it would be as an entertainment venue, as far as like Cricket Pavilion or whatever they call it now. Desert Sky. What was Desert Sky Pavilion?
I don't know. I don't. It was. I still call it Desert Sky or Cricket because that's what it's always kind of been.
Okay, so a business like that, their primary form or their primary mode of operation is as a concert venue, right? Not as a liquor supplier.
Yeah, that's true.
So in the Mason Jars case,
that's true. I never thought of that.
Even though it was a nightclub, he made the majority of his money through alcohol sales. So no matter what he wanted to call it, it was considered a bar in the eyes of the law, right?
True. Yeah. Totally makes sense.
So yeah, now like coming back to Illinois and seeing bartenders take shots with you or have a beer with you, that was foreign to me because I spent my 21 to moving back here in Arizona. I turned 21 when I was in Arizona, so it was weird to see somebody drinking while they were at work. I wasn't used to that. You don't see that out there.
Oh. Yeah, I was trying to remember if a bartender ever took a shot. I know Nikki was a bartender for years. I'll have to ask her when she gets home if she ever took a shot or a drink because people would buy her, regulars. Oh, I'll buy you a drink type thing. I would have assumed she would have taken the shot, but maybe not.
Well, and I'm sure people bend the rules along the way,
Right. Because after all, rules are made to be broken. I'm going to turn the light off behind me. It's bothering me. Hold on.
Okay. Rules are definitely made to be broken. But you got to learn them first. You don't want to break them and then find out. That's bad.
I was trying not to get such a glare That's better.
Yeah, that is better for sure.
So it's a whopping 79 degrees in Arizona today.
Actually, for Illinois, it's quite the heat wave, man. It's 57, I think, 56. It felt mighty nice.
Wow, that is kind of that's warm for you guys.
Yeah, when you just
Especially this morning. I
recently,
wish it wasn't this warming up no more.
yeah, when you've just recently experienced, what was it, 30 below wind chill? I sent you that picture. It was 13 below actual temperature.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah, 57 feels awful nice.
That's nuts. Yeah, that's. We were cold. To us, we were cold for a while, and then boom, next 10 days is going to be the average high is 75 degrees, which, let's face it, kids, that's why people move to Arizona, because the weather is so damn nice until, mid-July to September. Then it kind of sucks.
I'm thinking more like May to October, but it gets pretty hot in May.
May's not well. May and June aren't bad.
It's 100 degrees
bad, but July,
at
August,
the end
September,
of May.
Yeah, but it cools off at night. It's that nice. It's that nice
That's
stuff
true.
at night where it's not. Yeah, where it's just kind of. Once the sun goes down, it kind of you get that it's nice. It's nice at night.
That's true.
At least I think so. What do I know?
Well, I
I
wasn't
live
thinking.
here, so I'm kind of immune to anything.
I wasn't thinking about the fact that you're thinking of what everybody considers hell when July comes and it's only 99 at midnight.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. So
That does yeah. I don't like those months. I don't like when I'm getting to the point where I don't like it. I've liked it up until the last couple of years, and now it's just kind of like, fuck, this is getting old, man. But luckily where we live, we don't have a lot of asphalt around us because it's all 1 to 5 acres. We've talked about that before, and it's just kind of it alleviates that constant baking. Like when you go downtown Phoenix and it's just concrete jungle. We don't have that, which is nice.
it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to chat about some post-show antics, and you're going to share some stories, man. Right? Story time.
So
Story time. Because I wasn't involved in a lot of the after show stuff, just because we had just had, well, not just, but I think I think I had Skylar. We had Skylar before I joined the band, right? It had to be, yeah, because Nikki and I got married in '90. Well, Nikki and I got married in '96.
Oh yeah.
So we had Sky was born in '97. So yeah, Sky was little. The entire Nemesis run that I was involved in, Sky was little. So I didn't often hang out after the show, just for the simple fact that whoever was hanging at my house, I had to go relieve. And because we played so many shows, it was a full-time job finding a babysitter.
Yeah.
Granted, she was just asleep 9% of the time, but
I forgot Carrie actually got pregnant and she had a baby during the middle of all that. You guys had already had Skylar like shortly before you joined the band.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah, and you say that I can see her in my mind walking around the house pregnant. And
Yeah,
that was which one? Because they had 3, right?
Yeah, that was the youngest, so she would have been pregnant with Jaslyn then.
Gotcha.
And she was supposed to be on bed rest, but
Jaslyn's like in her 30s.
Easy. She might listen to
How
this.
do you bed rest with 2 other kids, man?
I'm pretty sure she's 28.
No, I'm just saying.
26, 27.
Okay, well, no, I was just looking at.
She's getting close to 30.
I was just thinking from because it's 2024 now.
Yes. She just had a birthday.
So yeah, I guess
December.
yeah, maybe 2000. Yeah, so okay, so yeah, she's in her 20s still then, for sure. My bad. She probably doesn't remember me.
Oh yeah, she remembers you. As far as hearing stories, and she knows the whole story.
Right. Yeah. Well, how can you not know the whole story? So let's talk about
her dad was the drummer.
Post-show antics there, Mr. Michaels. He
Well,
was the drummer, Scott the drummer.
the most horrible thing that happened was meeting one of my legends, which sometimes you got to be careful about what you wish for. So I'll tell that one quickly because
Right.
Pat Travers was a
Okay.
dick. For those of you who don't know, Pat Travers sang Snorting Whiskey, Drinking Cocaine. We opened for him
Right.
on a cool November night. I don't know when it was. We opened up for him. I don't know. At the Mason Jar
story,
or
Mike. Telling the story.
Boston's or anyway. I go back there and I'm like, hey, man, thanks for letting us open up for you. It was great to meet you. Appreciate you, letting us on the bill. Big fan. He's like, yeah, whatever. That was it. That was the extent of my.
That was it.
Yes. So now
Nothing else.
good, excellent, true rock and roll story is the night that we opened up for Enough's Enough. Yeah. And if any of the kids are listening to this, luckily you're old enough to hear this now, because Scott was involved in this one. Oh, so we get done with that, and we're hanging out because it must have been it had to have been a Friday or Saturday night. No national act's gonna play in the middle of the week at a club that only holds like 300 people. You never make any money, so it was probably I don't know.
I remember their tour bus behind. Yeah, I remember their tour bus behind the bar. That was the extent of my interaction with them. Oh, there's their bus. Okay, right on.
Yeah, because everybody had to squeeze down that alley because it was not really big enough to park a tour bus behind, but they made it work. So yeah, they're parked back there, and we get all our shit loaded up. And it's probably, I don't know, 2:30 in the morning, because they didn't go on till 11:30 at night, and they probably played for an hour and 45 minutes or something.
Right.
Off the bus comes Chip and the bass player. I can never remember his name. Anyway, they come walking up to us, and Scott and I are sitting there smoking a joint. We were getting ready to go home. Like, hey, you guys like to party? Obviously, it's 2:30 in the morning, and we're smoking a joint in the alley behind the bar. That's kind of a silly question, but they were all fucked up anyway, so it didn't matter.
Right.
We're like, hey, fuck, sure, whatever. So we're bullshitting with them. It's like, hey, thanks for having us on the bill. Same thing I said to Pat Travers. And they were like, oh, man, fuck, we're nobody. We were somebody once, but we're here playing this place like you are. So, again, you guys want to party? It's like, sure. So we hop on the bus with them, and there is just mounds, everything you could ever imagine. Mounds of cocaine on mirrors at all the different little what should have been eating areas were not eating areas at all. You could tell these guys like to party as much or more than we did at the time. So we ended up probably hanging out with them until, I don't know, 6:30 in the morning, and they had to take off. It's like, hey, we got to go.
Wow.
So did a lot of cocaine with, that was the first time.
That's probably,
that was the first time that I actually ever tried real cocaine in my life.
Yeah.
So luckily I wasn't like Len Bias and once and done,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say. That's probably one of the good things that I never really hung out after shows and things like that, because I wouldn't have. I don't. With my addictive personality, I don't think I would have succumbed to doing that off the bat. But if it was a recurring theme sooner or later, someone had been like, hey man, it's just, that's the addict in you, right?
I'm fortunate that while I liked it, I knew I was smart enough to know that I couldn't afford it. So I just kind of put it out of my head, and I wouldn't have known where to have gotten it at that time anyway. It wasn't something, I mean, I knew it was easy to find because we were in a band and we were surrounded by guys who were on speed all the time, but that just wasn't my scene at that time. And, unfortunately, when I tell the entirety of my addiction story, it's just a chance moment in time that if it had been any other situation, it never would have happened, because that's not something that I ever did other than that time and a couple other times. But it was a very,
Right.
in the whole run of the band, which, Nemesis was 3 different bands. It
Yeah.
started off as Desperate Angel.
Mm.
It morphed into Nemesis when you joined, and then when you left, it was still a band for a while.
Right.
So it was really 3 different bands in that whole time, from 1993 until 2003 or whatever it was. Like 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
It was just there.
Gotcha.
I liked it. I just was smart enough to know I couldn't afford it at the time. I was like, maybe if we sell 1 million records, this could be something that I might be into later on, but that wasn't really my scene.
Well, what's mind-boggling is, like, okay, so the Enough's Enough was one of the, I don't know how huge they were in the 80s, but they were pretty big. They had a couple really good hits, and obviously was a touring band, and a staple for that 80s sound. But when the downslope, like all 80s bands, kind of crashed once the Seattle invasion occurred, and it went back to they call it grunge,
We call it rock and roll.
and then all those bands kind of disappeared to. Right, but to his point, it's like, they were someone, now they're no one. Yet they're in a tour bus, which isn't cheap to run, and there's mounds of cocaine. So they obviously weren't making hundreds of thousands of dollars per show. So it poses the question, did they take care of their money enough to be able to finance their continued habits, or were they just going show to show to get high?
Don't know. Was way too. I was 20. So when this happened, I was 22, 23, somewhere in there, maybe 23.
Okay.
I wish that, and my grandpa had a saying, I wish I could remember it right now, but I would mess it up. I wish I knew enough to be that esoteric back then, to ask those deep kind of questions. I asked pretty deep questions, and that's why I ended up never having to get in fist fights and shit. I was good at talking things out. But, I had a 23-year-old knowledge. I didn't have the knowledge that I have today to be able to ask the question that you just asked. And I wish I'd known, because it would have been great if they would have said, oh yeah, man, we put it in IRAs and all these investment funds, and we bought stock, and they've skyrocketed, and we're rich as fuck, and we're just out here having a good time. And that might have been the case. If you had a good manager and you had a good entertainment lawyer that said, hey, look, boys, the reason that Nikki Sixx will never have to work a day in his life, and has not ever had to work a day in his life, he had a guy tell him one time, take 25% of everything you make from now until this band is done, because you don't have a steady paycheck all the time, so you got to save money in case there's some lean times. Luckily for him, there weren't a lot of lean times, and he saved that and more forever. So you know what he's worth. They signed the most lucrative contract in the history of the world when Theater of Pain came out. Like him or hate him, they were a smart band.
So, yeah, absolutely. So I Googled Enough's Enough, they're from Blue Island, Illinois. Did you know that?
Yes. That's one of the ways we got to talking.
Right on. They've been in a band since 1984. Current members are Chips Enough, which it's got to be a fake name, man. Chips
well, that's a stage name for sure.
I know. Tori Stoffregen, Jason Heeman, and Joe Corson. They had 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 previous members in that band, man. That's crazy.
Does it tell the original lineup? Because I can't remember what the bass player's name was.
I think the let's see in 19 let's see where it is it American rock band founded by singer Donnie VIE and bassist Chip Zanoff.
Oh, see, everybody that
band
knows
charted,
about
in
Enough's
the
Enough,
Holland
like,
100
you dumb fuck, Chip was the bass player. Okay, I'm thinking of Donnie V.
right.
He was there too. He was a
Gotcha. So
culprit.
Donnie V's he was the singer. Yeah,
Okay.
He was the singer and Chip was the bass player, and then they had their two hits for Fly High Michelle,
Fly
which
High
peaked at
Michelle
47, and New Thing,
and
which
New
peaked at
Thing.
67. Yep. And then that peaked at 67.
I just don't remember the order of who
holy
played
shit,
what.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
don't either. But they played. They've been together 30 years. They've released 16 studio albums and 24 CDs to date. Paul Gilbert, the Wild Hearts, and Nelson have recorded some of their songs. The group has appeared on MTV, Howard Stern's show, Late Night with Letterman. Music's been released by current label Alco Records and then previously Arista Records. I want to kind of see if it talks about. So Donnie left. Looks like Donnie left after 96. Or 93 to 2006, they didn't have Donnie, the singer. And they reconvened in 2006 with Donnie and to shoot a pilot for VH1's reality show Bands on the Run, but it was never aired.
Okay, so it was Chip and whoever the new singer
vocals.
was. That's why I couldn't remember his name.
Right. Well, Chip ended up being took over the vocals in 2014 and beyond.
Yeah, but they had
he sings now. He's the singer now.
They had a singer when we played with them at the Jar. It just was. I guess it wasn't Donnie. It was whoever the new guy was.
Okay. Okay, so here it is. I scrolled down. So Donnie was the vocalist from 84 to 2002, and then again from 2006 to 2013. So he was there that night. Some guy named B.W. Boeski was the drummer until 88, 4 years. Gino Martino was a guitar player, as was Pete Comita. Gino was there 84 to 87. I mean, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on. Then they have different touring members. Oh, there's a whole timeline. That's interesting. In case you wanted to know, there's a whole timeline on the Google machine.
Hey, turn your preamp up just a little bit.
Yeah. Turning my preamp up. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah.
There you go. So I went to
sometimes you don't talk right into that one.
Brothers and sisters. Gotcha.
That one's very unforgiving.
This one is mine. That's because it's the lead singer microphone.
Correct. It's supposed to be that way. It's very unidirectional,
Yeah.
which means one direction.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That keeps all the feedback from
the band. Yes.
Keeps all the feedback from coming through the PA.
I wonder if
that's why it's the most widely used vocal mic in the history of the world.
Yes. All right, I'm going to spell this right and see if I can come up with what they're worth, just because it's always interesting to me to find out what somebody's worth years later, which is not going to work, but we'll find out. Oh, Chip's Enough net worth has popped up. $500,000. Not bad for somebody who's been doing it for 30 years and
only had two real hit singles. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And then the band itself, its net worth has grown from 1.17 million in 2020 to 1.95 million in 2024. So the band itself has value to it. Kind of probably like how you buy and sell football teams. You got to take in all the merchandise and that kind of stuff. But yeah, and all their marketing and shit. So that's
it sounds
cool.
like they manage their money well.
Yeah, because how would you not if you're going to be worth $2 million for 30? Now, grand scheme of things, a band that's been around 30 years. Number one, kudos for being around 30 years, especially with the amount of players that came in and out of that thing. But to be able to sit back and say, yeah, our band, our entity's worth a couple $1 million. That's pretty cool. You know,
It is.
nothing
And
wrong
you
with
know
that.
as well as I do, it's expensive to be a musician. You lose a lot of money until you start
It is absolutely.
getting crowds, selling tickets, selling merchandise.
Sure.
If you can't do any of that, you're especially nowadays, you're fucked. Here's an interesting statistic for you that I don't know if you know. Have you seen the Snoop Dogg rant about his 1 billion streams?
No.
Oh, good. Here's an interesting fact for the folks at home. For those of you who are streaming music every day and think that you are doing an artist,
educate us,
a great service, while I do the same thing, so I'm being super hypocritical here right now because that's how I listen to music. I do pay $11 a month for that, so I don't have to listen to commercials. But anyway, that's beside the point. Snoop Dogg,
now, see,
I see on a reel.
Okay.
He says, I just got
we have a delay. We have a delay going on, just so you know.
How much is it?
I'd probably say 5 seconds or so.
Oh, Jesus.
I upgraded my internet to Starlink, actually. Michael Fry Jr.'s got Starlink, and I'm like, dude, let's hook this shit up. So we hooked it up. So there you go. Yeah, that's okay. It's all good. Go on with your story, my friend. Sorry.
No, he said that he got a congratulatory email, or I don't know, probably not an email. It was probably like a video message from the bigwigs at Spotify congratulating him on 1 billion streams for 2023. And he said, great. How much do I get? He's asking his manager, how much is that worth? Thinking that should be worth a fuck ton of money, but Snoop's not stupid, so he knows the answer in his head. He just wants to hear it.
No.
Less than $40,000.
Yeah.
Wow. So every time you stream a song, the artist gets approximately 0.00006 cents, or that, whatever that is, 6 millionths of a cent.
That's why you have, yeah.
It might be 10 millionths of a cent.
You have to merchandise, and you have to. That's insane, man. That's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. That explains a lot about our world of music. That's why everybody's got to work so hard to self-promote and put their own stuff out and distribute their own stuff and then go on the road to make all the money, because they're not making money on sales, obviously. Because I do it, I just buy it from iTunes. Anything I do, I don't stream. I streamed a little while with Apple Music, but I didn't like the fact that I had access to millions and millions of songs, but I didn't own it, and I'm like, that's fucked up. So I stopped streaming. Now I see something I like, I buy it, because at least in my mind, I'm still supporting the artist in some way, even though I'm just buying their album. Like, I won't buy one song. Like, if somebody says, "Oh, if I hear a cool song on a show, I'll Google it." And I got that TV show, The Suits, right? The pretty good flick.
Yeah, that's a great show.
They had this really cool. Yeah, so they had this cool. I thought it was a really cool band, and I Googled it. Let's see if I can find them on my phone. And then I fucking forgot that I downloaded them. So then I was doing something one day, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna, let's see what I have down here that's recent, and I'm like, oh fuck, it's called, I don't know how to say it, Kaleo, Kaleo, but it's a really cool like rocky blues type sound, and I've listened to it probably 6-7 times all the way through. I dig it. It's a really cool it's a really cool album. And
what's the name of the album?
The same era of that purchase. It's A/B, and the band is Kaleo.
Okay.
Kaleo. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
I'll screen. Yeah. But it's good, man. It's alternative rock, they call it. This came out in 2016. which probably jives with the band itself. I mean, the show. There's other stuff they have, Surfer Sounds and I Want More. Oh, those are their singles, I think. I don't know. I thought it was cool. Maybe it's the A sides, B sides is what the AB stands for. I don't know. But it was fucking legit. And then I also grabbed, I think you and I talked about it, Brian Head from Brian Head Welch. Tool?
Korn.
Oh, no, Korn. Fuck, don't hit me, Tool fans. His band, The Broken View, fucking, I know. His band, The Broken View, fucking dig it. It's, what I got from them was On the Mend, the deluxe version, the deluxe edition, which came out in 2022. The cool thing about it is there's 12 studio type songs and then an acoustic one, and then the rest of them from 14 to 20 are live. So you get the kind of the studio / live mixed in on one CD, which I think is cool because it's cool to hear when you're just being introduced. Yeah, when you're just being introduced to a band, it's cool to see them live, to hear live stuff as well as studio. That's what I dug about how I fell in love with Mother Love Bone, because I got somehow, I don't remember where I got that, Come Bite the Apple, their whole little video documentary they had. There was behind the scenes stuff which intrigued me, and then they had the live footage and stuff, and they had some of the videos they made in that thing, and it accompanied with, back then, a CD of the whole thing. And I'm like, that's what gets me, that's what hooks me, is the singers and the words they sing and the words they write and the melodies and the hooks, and then seeing the backside. Like, example, Don't Shoot Me. So Taylor Swift has a documentary called, dude, that's fucking legit though.
Treading on thin ice here.
I know.
I'll let you continue.
I know, but
I'll let you continue.
From a musician stand, from a pure musician's point of view. Okay, her documentary called Miss Americana.
Okay,
it's amazing, dude, because she started when she was 6, playing the guitar, doing state fairs and shit, and as she grew up, like full blown. I didn't finish it because I couldn't finish it, but I fell asleep or something. But it was interesting to watch it, because like the first couple years she was in mainstream, she didn't get nominated for a Grammy, and she was like, you could see on the face, she was like, fuck, I just got to do a better album. I have to come up with a better album. And I was like, huh. So when she finally won, she got over the hump and she won like 4 or 5 Grammys one night. What resonated with me is she had nobody to call. Like, she did this all by herself. There was no managing partners. There was no, A&R reps behind her. Her parents did what they did, obviously, but aside from that, nobody helped her get to where she was. She just did it from fucking busting her ass. And obviously with a bit of luck, because music's all about luck too. But she wins these Grammys and has nobody to call after the show was over to say, hey, look what I did. Like, no one. She's like, I had no one to call. I'm like, fuck.
That's crazy.
So how many people can climb that? Right. How many people can climb that mountain and have nobody to share it with? You know what I mean? I mean, we don't know, because we don't know all those people, but I just, that when that was pointed out, that's kind of kept me engaged in the story, because then I'm like, fuck. And then as she kept going down the path, there was stuff in the studio where, like, just fucking randomly writing a song that kind of like, they showed her creative process, and legit, she sits at a piano and just starts dinging things around and humming and shit. And all of a sudden this comes out, and then she's another scene where she's actually in the control booth with her producer. And she's pulls out her phone because she wrote all the lyrics on her notepad, and she's fucking, rap singing it. And the fucking producer's like, oh, that's fucking a hit right there. So that part of it, not the bullshit you see on TV, not the, oh, my boyfriend, girlfriend stuff, just the sheer fact from a creative standpoint. Yeah. The fact that she came 6 years old, man, standing on a stage with a guitar. I get it. 6 years old. That's 2 years older than Little Man right now.
I'm being
that to me was impressive. That to me was like, wow,
a complete asshole, man. I'm just a fucking guy talking on a podcast here. You know, it's like I'm not a 12-year-old girl,
Yeah.
so her music doesn't appeal to me. But as an artist,
Right.
she's fucking amazing. I mean, I agree with you. She just churns out one hit after another. She knows what her demographic is as far as who's buying her music, and then
Yeah.
ultimately who's taking the person that's buying her music to the concert is the parents, right? And they got the money. So
Right. 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 Yep.
whoever it
Yeah, and I
was
don't
that
listen. Yeah.
marketed her they were fucking geniuses. If it was her, the more power to her, and it
Yeah,
very well
and I
might
don't.
have been.
Yeah. 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 And I haven't heard a single thing that she's ever done aside from what was on that show. But it just, yeah. So I don't know the demographic. I don't know who buys her shit. I don't really care. I like documentaries about music. Like I watched the We Are the World documentary. That was fucking amazing. Just that they pulled that shit off after an American Music Awards event. Um, like after the AMAs went on, they all those musicians came together in one spot and just did their thing for the most part. Waylon Jennings walked out because he was tired of the bullshit that was going on, so he just fucking got off the righteous and walked away.
So I was just
Which I thought
talking
was
to Sunshine about this when we were at work. She asked me if I had seen that, and shout out to Sunshine,
yeah.
regular listener every Monday when she's down there doing her
Hey,
business
Sunshine.
at the hall.
Yep. Whoop,
Anyway,
whoop.
I was like, "No, I haven't seen it yet," and she said, "I don't know if they say it in there or she just knew that Prince. They talk about Prince in there."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we had to look it
they do. They
up.
tried to get Prince, but
Go ahead.
no, they tried to get Prince, but Prince just didn't show up.
Yeah, so we looked it
Prince had
up.
some weird.
He
Yeah.
didn't like the song. He said the song was horrible. It was very conceited, man. He said, I think the song is horrible. He didn't want to be a part of it. Something about, I don't want to be around all them motherfuckers. And
Right.
this is coming from the guy that wrote his biography and basically, I guess, spent time with him. So it came firsthand. He just thought the song was horrible, didn't want to spend time with all those people, which, you know, who knows? He was a recluse, so I don't think he was really interested in
He
hanging
didn't.
out with
They
them.
did touch on that. No, he didn't. He didn't want to be there with the amount of because really there was. I mean, it was a who's who of the '80s pop and country scene. I mean, it does. I mean, like legit. Even some actors and shit were in there. That's
Oh, yeah,
weird. Like,
dude.
why the fucking
We had to sing the
actors?
fucking thing
Yeah.
in school. Everybody had a part. I kid you not. And the parents had to come and everything.
That's
My mom
funny.
be listening to this. She'll remember. We had to put on a performance
Wow.
recreating We Are the World, and you will be Stevie Wonder, and you will be Bruce Willis, and you will
That's
be
funny.
Paul McCartney, and, you know, because there were actors in there. I think
That's
Bruce
funny.
Willis was one
I
of
could
them.
do. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what that was. That was mind boggling. Those actors. I remember. Yeah, it was interesting. It's an interesting documentary for sure. And I'm
I'll check it out.
sitting around watching documentaries all the time, but some of them that have to do with music, it's appealing. I always like the VH1 behind the music stuff.
Oh, me
You
too.
know,
I was a sucker
it's
for
always
that.
interesting. You know. Yeah. No, it's better because you can do it without commercials, so that's a win. You know,
That's a
you don't
huge
gotta
win.
stream that shit. You don't have to like, you know, like this. That's what blows my mind, man. An hour program on TV in the streaming platform is 38 minutes. You know, a 30-minute one is 19 to 21 minutes, depending. It's like wow. You know,
So
commercials, man. Commercials fuck it all up.
I should have wrote this down. I had it figured out because I'm so scatterbrained. I watch television from the 1920s or 30s all the way through modern day. I'll find stuff on like Turner Classic Movies from the 30s and 40s, and I'll just get captivated. So when
Right on.
commercials started being introduced in around I don't know, late 40s, early 50s, because they were live during the program for a long time. So there was no real commercial
Right.
break,
Remember that.
right? So somewhere around the late 40s or early 50s, you got the commercial break. And with the hour-long program on a Turner Classic Movie, you can see that there's no commercial. So you can see that an hour-long program was like 51 minutes in 1947 or 1950, right?
Right.
So then I'll watch movies
Right.
from or hour long programs from the 70s, and I'll see that same 51 or 52 minutes is now 48 minutes, right? So we've shrunk the show that much further
Right.
to allow for programming. Then you get into the 80s, and they're like
Right.
44 to 46 minutes. Now an hour long program is like 41 or 42 minutes. So every hour you're spending 18 minutes of your hour watching commercials, unless you're like us and just don't do that.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't know why I went on a rant about cable television, but get rid of that shit and start streaming. That's all I'm saying. Commercials are
Exactly.
bullshit.
Well, and I mean, they make the world go round, obviously, but it's it's how a lot of people generate business and income and
And we're
leads
hoping
and
to do
whatnot.
that
But
with this
still,
podcast.
I agree with you. It just seems kind of yeah, exactly.
I'm an enigma.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I'm responding to a message. I have some people that are in the middle of buying a house, so inspections and all that kind of fun stuff. Cool. Sorry about that, kids. Oh, I'm going to NASCAR for the first time. I've never been to NASCAR. You ever been to NASCAR before?
I have never been to the race. No, I got invited a few times when I lived out there, but I never went.
Right on.
I should have, just to say I went.
I'm excited. It's yeah. No, I have a buddy. Like I heard it was coming in March. My birthday's March 4th, so Nikki's always like, "What do you want to do for your birthday?" And I'm never like, "I don't fucking know. I don't care." It's once you hit the 40, because then you're over the hill, and it's just like even though you're not over the hill, it's like yeah, whatever. And then
Right.
usually it's just the last minute thing. When I stopped drinking and when the kids were I don't know how old they were, but we would go to Peter Piper Pizza for my birthday because I wanted them to have fun. And even though it was my birthday, I figured it'd be a lot more engaging and fun if they all if they just have fun and we play video games and skee ball and eat pizza and shit, and it's fun. So yeah, we're gonna go to NASCAR. It's March 8th, 9th, and 10th. It's like the whole weekend. It's kind of cool for two people to be in the stands, and then you can go in the infield all 3 days. You can talk to the drivers. You can take pictures of the cars and shit. Like you kind of just mingling around. It's like $500 for all 3 days. I was blown away how cheap, and to me that's cheap. Like
that is cheap for 3 days.
Because it's like right, like the whole, and it's like the whole weekend we could just be there from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night and just hang out and look at the cars and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think that's bad at all.
So no, so I'm excited to check that out. I mean, and it was cool too because the rep called me today because I went on to do it and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna call Kevin. So I called Kevin. I'm like, hey, dude, never did this before. How does this work? And so he's telling me what he packaged he's got because I didn't realize you could be a season ticket holder for NASCAR, man, like legit.
No shit.
And then you renew them and shit. Yeah. So it's his package is, he got a better deal than I did because as soon as the race ends, he just re-ups his season tickets and then boom. So what we're doing was like $543, which Nikki's covering it because that's my birthday thing. But what he does is $389 for 2 people because he does it so far in advance, which is kind of cool, you know. So it's surprising that it's like you could go. It costs a couple $100 just to go to a Suns game. You know what I mean? And the same thing with like the Cardinals when they're in town. But be able to spend 3 days just, you know, and I could be fucking bored out of my mind doing this. You know what I mean? But it's like, fuck, I want to at least go to this once.
No, it's a new
I'd like to go to
experience.
see Demolition Derby once, but I don't think they do demolition. Yeah, and I don't think they do. And I figured I'm going to fucking take a shitload of business cards and just, you know, maybe put the Dukes of Hazzard on the back of my card and like redneck racers. Let's go, man. Let's find you a house so you can build your own track. You know?
If you ever want to go to a demolition derby, you can come back here on Labor Day.
Yeah, I do.
And we have that option for you available at our Thresherman's reunion. You can go to
Have
a
you
real
done?
live.
Have you gone to one?
Oh, fuck yeah. Tons of times. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I
Right
grew up in
on.
the
And they
sticks,
just fucking
dude.
crash into each other like they did on Happy Days.
That's what country folk do, Chris. They crash their cars up
That's funny.
and they drag race
That's
them.
funny. I thought it was tractor.
That's where
chicken-
American engine. I'm not making.
I thought it was
you know,
playing.
I'm making fun of them, but I'm not.
I know.
That's where a lot of American ingenuity
I
came
thought
from,
maybe
and
you were gonna.
that's where stock car racing itself came from. Is running moonshine. You know, if it wasn't for hillbillies, we wouldn't have stock car.
I knew it was
racing.
from. I knew that was from. Yeah. No, I knew that. I knew about NASCAR was all about bootlegging and shit. The beginning of it.
Yeah,
Just got
100%.
watched the history of that shit, but yeah, I never knew. Yeah, I've never been to one, so I'm excited to go. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to check that shit out.
It's always cooler to be there. Like, I don't watch hockey on television, but I love going to hockey games
I don't either.
because the game makes sense when you're there. Way more than it does when you're watching it on television, because you get to see all the line changes and the guys coming in and out all the time. I never knew that
Yeah.
shit was happening, you know, because I never played the game, so I didn't understand it. And then I went to a Coyotes game and I'm like, wow, this is really cool, man. These guys are, you know, moving all the time. It's just amazing what, you know, their cardio must be spectacular because you just never stop moving. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it, but I would
Well,
not,
it's like sorry.
I wouldn't sit down and watch a hockey game on television.
No, it's kind of like we're watching Ted Lasso, that show on Apple,
I love that.
and it's soccer. Yeah. So it's football, right? It's not American football, but it's soccer for the cool thing about that is they're nonstop running. They're 90-minute. It's a 90-minute thing, man. Like they're just like
Hold
it's
on one-
crazy. How okay.
Give me 2 seconds. I gotta look for something.
Sure. So, boys and girls, while Mike's going away, what should we talk about? Would you like to meet Cardboard Cutout Jake? I can show you Cardboard Cutout Jake. So, my son, for those of you that have been on the show or watched the show before, you know Jake's a Marine, and he came on, and so he's hiding here in the back corner, which I got to do is without pulling my thing out because that would be bad. Oh, look, Mike's back. I was going to show them Cardboard Cutout Jake. Hold on.
You can show him cardboard cutout, Jake.
This is Cardboard Cutout Jake. We'll make him short. I was trying to have him be part of the show, but it's kind of difficult because don't apologize, Mike. You know, there he is. So there's Cardboard Cutout Jake, who is on his way to be a drill instructor. He goes to comes to San Diego end of April, and starts that path. And the cool thing right now, he's teaching. He's educating young corporals in some type of training.
I saw his graduating class.
To where they're, yeah, he fucking loves it, dude. And I told him the other day, like, dude, I'm so happy that you found something that you love. It's hard. People don't realize how hard it is in life to actually find something that, number one, that you love, and number two, that you're good at. So I championed him for finding something that he really enjoys doing, and it's awesome. It's very awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. I gave him a message and a shout out because it looked like he was having fun in the picture. Everybody looked like that was a good group that had a good time, and you could just see it on their faces. So I'm happy for him too that he found something that he likes. That's awesome.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, it's hard when you're growing up. You and I both know that. You're growing up. It's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? You don't fucking know. It's the never ending question why until you graduate high school, then all of a sudden it smacks you in the face. Well, fucking now what?
Dude, I got so lucky.
Luckily for us, we right.
So don't lose that thought that what you just said.
Okay, no, I won't. You got so lucky.
Say? No, what'd you just say?
No, you said you got so lucky.
No, you said when you get out of high school,
knowing what I wanted to do growing up.
Then you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. When you
exactly. So the way that I got lucky was when I was like 9 or 10 years old. My grandpa owned 2 gas stations here in town, right. And in the summertime, I would always go hang out because I didn't have anything to do, So my grandma and grandpa were there. It's like I'll go hang out with them. That was the advantage to growing up in the middle of nowhere, especially back then, is you could just get on your bike and take off, and nobody knew where you were till lunchtime or dinner time. It's like it was a different time. So I would go hang out up there, and the high school kids that were working up there, one in particular, probably got tired of me being there all the time because I'm sure I was an annoying pain in the ass. And he's like, have you ever thought about playing the guitar? And I said, no, not really. I don't know why somebody would ask me that because I'm only like 10.
Right.
He says, come out here and I want you to listen to a couple tracks here. So he had a Z28 and he had a Pioneer tape deck in it, and I don't know what he put in there, docking or something. He's like, do you hear the bass guitar? And I said, yeah. I didn't even know what a bass guitar was. I just lied. It's like, sure, I hear it.
Right.
I just thought it was cool that I was sitting in a Z28 with a kid that was in high school, and he's talking to me about music, and I'm a punk-ass kid. This was awesome.
Right.
So he's like, here, I'm going to give you the number of this dude. He's taking guitar students, and he'll teach you how to play the guitar. It'll be awesome. Okay. So I went home and asked my mom.
Nice.
And, she found out who it was, and luckily she worked with his mom, and he gave me lessons all the way through. All the way through high school, from time I was 10 or 11 till I was probably 16. And then I went off to college gave lessons to supplement my income to the kids that I was going to school with. So he must have taught me pretty well because I did the same thing when I was in the band. I gave lessons out there in Arizona too to quite a few students. So I actually became a member of the International Guitar Registry of Teachers back in the 90s. I'm sure they're defunct now.
See, that's one of the things. Had we, went to the next level, tour bus riding around the country, you would have taught me how to play guitar, because that was one of the things I always figured I'll learn how to play guitar when I'm sitting on a tour bus traveling the world. Because what a better way to learn, because otherwise you're sitting there doing things you shouldn't be doing. I'm all tangled here.
So that's a funny story because
I went to get cardboard cutout Jake, so I got tangled.
I wanted to learn how to play the drums. I really wanted to be a drummer, really bad.
Oh,
my mom will tell you I used to get all the pots and pans out and bang on them on the kitchen floor when I was 3, 4, 5, whatever. And I never lost that.
Awesome.
And I still want to be a drummer like there's no tomorrow, but I just had to come to terms with the fact that my legs and my arms don't operate independently of each other like that. It's an amazing feat of mental and physical strength to be as talented as Scott was playing the drums, or as anyone is playing the drums.
Oh,
that does it
drummers.
professionally.
Yeah.
It's not just a mental
drummers
feat.
Fucking get their asses kicked. No.
Because you are literally doing one thing differently with each one of your limbs. Imagine that for a second, people. Every one of your your left hand is doing one thing, your right hand's doing another, your left foot's doing one thing, and your right foot's doing another, all simultaneously, all at the same time. So you're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 on your right hand. You're only counting 2s and 4s on your left hand. You're counting 1s and 3s on your right foot. And you're doing God knows whatever with your left foot. You're opening and closing the hi-hat. You're triggering some sound. You're doing whatever. You're operating a double bass pedal. Your brain is going gangbusters, like at 1,000,000% an hour.
Right.
Then you have to have the physical stamina to be able to perform a 2-hour show, right?
Yep.
It's fucking amazing.
Which is what makes Def Leppard, which is what is it Rick Allen, Def Leppard's drummer?
Correct.
Which makes him that much more of just an amazing musician. I mean, to do that with one arm, just, outstanding.
He said it made him a better drummer.
And that just, I bet. I don't know how it couldn't, because the concentration has to go to hold a whole new level, everything, and his
not
focus
only
and determination and having to teach his body.
Yeah. And not only that, he said that he was a classically trained drummer, for lack of a better term. He was trained in percussion, not just to be a rock and roll drummer. So he said losing his arm made him think more simplistically, which then therefore made the music sound better, right? Because he wasn't trying to squeeze all these gigantic fills where they didn't belong, He was just taking more of the AC/DC approach, which is less is more.
Right.
Which is why when you see an AC/DC concert, 100,000 people are bobbing up and down in unison, because it's easy to tap your foot too. So when you're writing songs, keep that in mind, kids. You got to be able to dance to it or tap your foot to it, one or the other.
Right. That's the one thing. Nikki and I went dancing Saturday.
I saw your video
she
there.
Likes to dance. Yeah, dude. It's like, number one, we're getting badass at it, but number two, when they do the line dancing, right, which is, it just amazes me how in unison, because we don't do a line dance shit, because some of that stuff's like just fucking crazy, man. But to watch from outside of the dance floor and just see everybody moving at the same time in unison, like everywhere, it's pretty badass, man. It is pretty badass. Just the syncness of them. Is that the right word?
Yes.
The syncness of them.
They're in sync.
It's just it's fucking really cool, dude, how they do that. Like I dig it. It's badass for sure.
It's just cool to have something where you can go forget about your day for a minute and do something different,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we do that on Tuesday afternoons. Oh, I'm sorry. Monday afternoons. Or
where
Sunday.
do they do that at?
When does this air? Who? Where do we do that at?
Yeah. I'll answer your question. Where do they do the country dancing at?
Okay. Denim and Diamonds.
And where is that?
It's a place in Mesa. It's Ellsworth and Power in Maine, just before you get to Ellsworth.
Okay. We are on Tuesday afternoon here currently, as you know. We publish this on Sunday afternoon for the folks at home.
Sundays, that's what it is.
Those listening at
large. This last week's episode is now on our and that last week's episode is now on our YouTube page, which is at Chris and Mike Show on YouTube.
Yes. You and I debated whether we should keep saying what episode it is, and then we organically just quit doing it about 3 episodes ago. This is episode number 17.
Right. Yep.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Chris and I don't argue with each other, because whatever's going to happen is going to happen anyway. We could have had a blow up. Like, I think we should talk about it at the beginning of the episode. Well, I don't think we should. It could have turned into a, we're not going to talk to each other for 2 days. And look what happened. We both forgot to tell you that this is episode number 17.
It is episode number 17.
I just love it when shit
And
like
then
that happens.
and then we realized, right? And then we realized this little glitch in my matrix, because I was trying to grab my internet speeds faster than Mike's, especially now that I switched to Starlink. Future son-in-law had a Starlink, so Saturday afternoon we just hooked it up. It took all of 10 minutes. It was crazy. Maybe more
That's
than
awesome.
10 minutes. Put it up where we had it. It was 10 minutes, and I had to run through the attic and shit. But all the streaming platforms work like crazy. Like usually when I go to Peacock, it was the Circle of Death. Like, what the fuck is that video game console? I don't know, 360.
Xbox.
Anyway. Yeah. So I went to sign in to this back end of the platform we use, Riverside FM, to record the show, so I could download the show and then upload it onto our YouTube page. Well, it wouldn't recognize me. It kept saying, like, you fucking don't work. So I hit the Google button and went to do it on the Google. And even that was being like, nope. You got to do this. You got to authenticate. I'm like, why am I fucking authenticating, man? Like, I've done this now. The first, I think I did it week 9. I uploaded all of them, and then every week since, and then Mike realized, well, dude, your IP address is different every single login. I'm like, whoa, that's insane. So whatever firewall I have, whatever like dark web shit going on in my house without me realizing it, I have different IP addresses.
I think we all do.
I sign out or sign in, which is just bizarre. Yeah.
I think part of your problem is, like you were saying when I was talking to you on the phone, you're logging into your shit, then you're logging into my shit, and that
Right.
stuff just gets confusing. So it's all good. We always get you in there.
Yeah. Yeah,
You got
absolutely.
VIP access, brother. You are the co-host of the show,
There you go. Yeah, it is. It's, co-host. Co-host has advantages. So what else is going on in your world today?
Other than it's a beautiful day, finally. I'm so happy to not be freezing my fucking ass off. I think it's...
Right.
I'll tell you, I will say I think it's good for people to have to suffer a little bit, because it really makes you appreciate a day like today. Like, everyone around here is like, oh, it's so nice outside today. It's good to see you. Good to see you out. It just makes people happier. You can see it, whether they know it or not. I saw it. We're coming out of work and everyone's laughing. Everyone's having a good time. It just happens unconsciously, but I'm just such a weirdo that I pay attention to shit like that. I'm like, wow, look at that. Nice day, and everybody's happy. I think it's good for you to suffer.
It does. Agreed. And at the same time, though, that vitamin D, man, you got to fucking, you need that, man, for sure.
I drink it every day in my orange juice, man.
Because right.
I know what you're saying, though. You got to have sunlight.
Yeah.
We went I think my mom said,
to.
I thought it was 2 weeks. I think she said we went 3 weeks, and we saw the sun 2 times. And they were brief moments.
Yeah, see, I couldn't deal with that. I hate it when it's in. Yeah. I hate it when it's wintry here and it's cloudy for a few days. Fucking drives me nuts. I can't deal with that. I wouldn't survive in Seattle at all, or any types of those. Yeah.
That's unusual. I mean, usually sometimes you'll go for a 10-day stretch, where a big front's moving through, because they move slow across this part of the country. Yeah. What people don't realize is storms start on the West Coast, and they go, well, I guess most people realize if they watch the weather on the news, but very rarely does a storm come from the east to the west. It just cruises across the country, and by the time it gets here, it stalls out sometimes, and it'll just sit and dump torrential rain. Unfortunately, right now, that's what it's doing in California. they're just getting inundated with rain. That doesn't normally happen.
Yeah,
It
and
usually cruises right past there,
yeah, no, we got some of that, and then it didn't start out the way it was supposed to. Then it fucking poured for 2 or 3 days to the point that they canceled the irrigation run. So there's the first irrigation that'll happen in my neighborhood will be the second week in March this year. So
Wow.
they canceled all the January and February because they had so much rain. Yeah, which is a trip.
That's really unusual for Arizona.
Right? It is, but it's it's nice because when it rains, the water goes everywhere. With irrigation, it misses some spots. So like legit, my yard, not to be a fucking homer, but my yard's fucking fantastic right now. The whole thing's green in spots that I never usually get green before.
Isn't
Part
that
of it's
nice?
because we had two monster. It is nice, and part of it's because we had 2 trees taken down that were in the back of the yard that were palo verdes and just fucking terrible. And then we had a branch break on a tree, so that opened up a whole another thing too. So it's kind of cool.
The entire time I lived in Arizona, we only had a monsoon probably the first 2 years I lived there, and then maybe the last 2 years I lived there. It was a drought the entire time. That's the reason that Lake Mead is like, what,
Damn.
200 foot down or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were no more
And
monsoons
they're finding
after
all
the
the
first couple
bodies
of
and
years.
shit.
Yeah, buried
That's
in the
crazy.
barrels.
I didn't know that. Yeah. 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 All that mobster shit coming back to haunt them finally because nobody ever thought that shit would dry up, and now it's so many years later. It's it's legit. Now that that's where Dave ended up.
Yeah, all the mafia hits that happen in Las Vegas. That's pretty
Yep.
much who those people
Yep.
are.
Oh yeah, yeah. Something to do with something.
There was a
Slim Shady motherfuckers.
There was a crazy story. I went to fucking Vegas with a guy named Mark Shreve. Actually, I went to Laughlin.
Okay.
So we didn't go to
Okay.
Vegas. We actually went to Laughlin.
Okay.
And he wanted to go ride the world's largest above ground metal roller coaster. It's at a place called Wild Bill's. You can look
And
it
that's
up.
in Laughlin?
No. This is in a place called Primm, Nevada, out in the fucking middle of nowhere.
Okay.
I shit you not. There's a casino sitting on a fucking interstate out in the middle of nowhere in Nevada. Primm is I don't even know if it's a real town. It's just a couple casinos. So we get there, and I'm shitting bricks the whole way because I don't want to ride the world's largest above ground metal roller coaster. I just want to go get high and gamble. That's really why I'm along for the ride. That was the second time I did cocaine in my life.
Right.
So I'll tell you real quick. The funniest part of the story is both of us smoked, and
Yeah.
we're staying at the Colorado Bell, which is a classy place in Laughlin.
Okay.
And his dad's a high roller, so we're staying there on his dad's high roller room, right? So the whole time we're there, we're fucking smoking cigarettes, smoking joints. He had coke, so the last night we were there, we did that. But we kept thinking, we're in the fucking casino, man. Why is there no ashtrays in these rooms or in the hallway? So we're there for 3 fucking days, and the last day we're there, dude, we get to the elevator, and underneath the button for the elevator is a sign that says non-smoking floor. So we trashed that fucking room, dude.
Wow.
Just trashed it because we were smoking pot and cigarettes. We just kept thinking, why are there no ashtrays?
Where were you putting? So where were you putting them?
Beer bottles.
Where were you putting the cigarette butts? Oh, okay.
Toilet, beer bottles, out the window.
Makes sense.
Whatever. We were young and dumb. We weren't real concerned with housekeeping. Okay, so
that's funny.
we take off to go to, I think the place was called Bucky's Casino. You can Google it. It's closed now. I just Googled it not
I've
that
heard
long
of that.
ago
I've heard
to
of
see if it.
yeah.
Okay.
I've
So
heard of it. I've heard of that though. Okay.
Oh, okay. Bucky's is in Primm, Nevada. And its claim to fame was it had the world's largest above ground metal roller coaster. The whole time I'm fucking going there, there's more to this story. It goes on forever. But the whole time we're going there, I'm like, motherfucker, I hope this thing's broken or something. Please, for the love of God, please don't let this thing run. I'm not going to bullshit anyone. I did not want to ride this thing. And he's so excited. So we get there. And there's like 50 or 60 mile an hour straight line winds. So we can't ride the world's largest above ground metal roller coaster. So we go in and they got this virtual reality. This was my first touch with virtual reality. You actually got in this thing and dude, it was like you were on the world's largest above ground metal roller coaster.
Really?
It was awesome. Yeah. Like I was scared in that fucking thing. But I knew I wasn't, 100 feet off the ground, so I was happy. So coming home from this place, he's driving, and I swear that we either had a missing time experience or we drove into a different dimension. You want to talk about like woo-woo shit on this show? Here's your first woo-woo experience, and we'll have lots of these because my family has stories upon stories, but not very often has this ever happened to me. I've had a couple missing time experiences. One in particular that I experienced with someone else, and they will not talk about it to this day. So we can't have them on the show because it freaks them out every time I bring it up. But I'll tell you the story. So anyway, Mark and I are driving, and all of a sudden we're in Nevada, right? And we're not at any elevation. Yeah. It starts fucking snowing like there's no tomorrow. I shit you not. And the road starts getting slick. And Mark grew up in Arizona in the valley, so he's never driven in snow. And I'm getting scared for my life. So I make him pull over, and I'm like, look, dude, I grew up in the Midwest, man. I'll drive us from here on out.
Yeah. What time of the year was this?
It was probably...
What time of year?
It was probably October. Late September, early October. It was in the fall.
Okay.
It was cool. But then we come upon this town, and all the power was out because there was a storm, right? So there storms going on.
Oh shit.
It's a small little town that popped up out of nowhere, and we're on what we thought was a state highway. We're not on an interstate. So we got off the interstate because there was traffic that was backed up, right? So we're taking these state roads going back to Laughlin. And this fucking town pops up out of nowhere.
Right.
And all these people are standing out like on the main drag of the town on either side of the road, just like watching these cars go by. There's only like 5 cars. There's us and maybe a truck and 2 other cars.
That's fucking weird.
So I look at him and I'm like, where the fuck did this town come from? For starters, why is there no power? And why are all these people standing on either side of the street? And I'm going to tell you right now, because I've told this story, and the first question that everyone asked that knows me and has known me for any length of time asked, how fucked up were you? We were not. We were not at all.
Okay.
We smoked while we were at the casino.
Yeah.
But we were there for probably 6 or 8 hours. So, and you know me, I've never lost my mind smoking pot. So we were not doing that anyway. And we weren't drinking either because both of us were driving. So where these people came from, where this town came from, I have no idea. All I remember doing is telling him to keep fucking driving. I'm like, do not stop. It's like a scene out of Deliverance.
Twilight Zone shit, man. Right? That's totally Twilight Zone shit.
It was.
That's crazy.
That's a true story. If I could find Mark Shreve, he would verify that story.
Oh, I believe you.
Freaked me the fuck out, man.
Crazy, man. I that would freak me out too, Mike. be honest with you. Just fucking that leads me to an idea. Hold on.
Okay. I led him to an idea, ladies and gentlemen. We are standing by, as they say. Standing by. Please stand by. Testing. Testing.
So
testing.
It's going on. It's creating the list.
Okay.
It's creating the list, and I'm going to do what I normally do. You're going to run the show for 2 minutes because I got to pee.
Okay.
I'm going to eventually just get a bucket and I'm going to pee underneath my desk.
That's all good. So we will do some thank yous. So thank you to all the people who have reached out and let us know that you're listening and that you're enjoying the podcast. We truly appreciate that. Do more of that because it only inspires us to want to do bigger and better things. We do have bigger and better things on the horizons. I'm basically rebuilding this entire room into a full podcast studio. So in the near future, it will have a new look to it, and I'm pretty excited about that. So Chris will have some new equipment, and I'll have some new equipment, so hopefully it will sound bigger and badder. I'm not sure why I said badder, but hopefully it will sound better. Badder, like it's 1985, it's bad. Michael Jackson. So anyway, thanks for all the people who have, reached out and let us know that this is either helping you in some way or getting you through your day. We appreciate it. Definitely share your Facebook list with your friends if you haven't done that already. That helps out immensely. Go to YouTube and subscribe. Chris has done a lot of hard work on the YouTube channel, so if that's your medium of choice, head over there and definitely hit the subscribe button. So welcome back to the Chris and Mike Show. It's Chris Dunham.
Subscribe to all subscribe to all our stuff, motherfuckers. Like, come on, man.
That's what we were discussing. I told him that you were working hard on the YouTube channel.
Right. You guys are doing a disservice to yourselves by not subscribing. So this will be a nice little way to wrap this up because there's a segue from what you did because that was the idea I just had. So the 11, what did I call this? The top 11 strange occurrences in America. Huh?
Oh, I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah. So we're going to start with number 11 because
right.
It's all about the rock and roll. Number 11. Number 11. I don't know how to say this. It's Russian. It's the Dyatlov Pass incident. So though not in America, this mysterious event involved the deaths of 9 hikers. Dyatlov. Okay,
I'm familiar.
It involved the mysterious. Okay, involved the death of 9 hikers in the Ural Mountains in Russia in 1959. Circumstances surrounding their deaths, including inexplicable injuries and strange behavior, had led to numerous theories ranging from avalanches to extraterrestrial encounters.
And the Yeti, 11. Which is the Russian Bigfoot.
And the Yeti. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Fucking learned something today. So number 10. Let me see if you've heard of this. The Georgia Guidestones. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah. They just got destroyed because somebody blew up a bomb at them.
Okay.
So go on. Yeah.
Oh. So they were referred to as America's Stonehenge. They're granite monuments in Elbert County, Georgia. They feature the inscriptions in several languages outlining principles for a post-apocalyptic world. The origin and purpose of those guidestones remain a mystery, fueling speculation about their meaning and their creators.
Correct. There's a documentary on it somewhere. Look it up if you're interested, people.
Okay.
I watched it.
I am, absolutely. Next one, number 9. Have you ever heard of the Circleville letters?
Somewhere along the way, yeah. So refresh my memory.
Okay. So the Circleville letters happened in the late 70s. The residents of that Circleville, Ohio, began receiving anonymous threatening letters
That's what it was.
The letters targeted individuals in the community, including public officials, and contained intimate knowledge of their personal lives. Despite investigations, the identity of the sender remains unknown.
Yep.
Maybe that was Ted, the Unabomber, getting started.
These were all topics of conversation on the Art Bell show, which my Grammy got me into when I was pretty young.
okay.
I used to spend the night over there, and she would stay up all hours of the night listening to Art Bell, and he would always talk about crazy shit like this. So a lot of stuff I remember from that show. I love stuff like this.
Right on. Oh, you've heard of this one. Who hasn't heard of this one? The Salem Witch Trials.
Oh, yeah.
1692 in Salem, Massachusetts, a series of trials and executions occurred where people were accused of witchcraft. The trials resulted in the deaths of 20 individuals, making it one of the darkest chapters in American history and a cautionary tale about the hysteria and injustice.
And you know what they think it was from?
Eating a peyote?
No, they think it was from the wheat molding,
mushrooms.
and it turns into a chemical compound called ergot, which does the same thing as acid in mushrooms.
Okay.
It makes you trip your fucking balls off. And climatologists now know that was an exceptionally wet winter and spring, so that their harvest of their wheat would have gotten moldy because they probably didn't have a way to dry it and do all the things that we do to cultivate it nowadays. So they think that
Interesting.
It developed this chemical compound called ergot, and that these people were tripping their balls off, and they thought that these women were witches. So it makes a lot of sense.
Crazy. Number 7. I wonder if this has anything to do with this other thing. You'll catch the drift there. The Bell Witch Haunting. I was thinking the Blair Witch Project, but maybe not. A famous case of purported poltergeist activity that occurred in Robertson County, Tennessee in the late 19th century. The Bell family reported encounters with a malevolent entity that tormented them for years, leading to the investigations and legends that persist to this day. So kind of like exorcists, you know?
I was unaware of that one.
Oh, this is interesting. This is a trip. The Kentucky Meat Shower.
I'm unaware of this one too.
In 1876, flakes of meat fell from the sky over Bath, Kentucky. Witnesses described the meat as beef-like in texture, but could not determine its origin. The event remains a mystery, with various theories ranging from vultures regurgitating their meats to a bizarre meteorological phenomenon. It's kind of like it's raining cats and dogs. It's raining beef, man. There's beef coming out of the sky.
Oh, fuck,
now what's funny is this shit went down in 1876. So how much of that got telephone gamed in the process of then and now?
Correct.
Right? Yeah. Okay. So number 5, the Philadelphia experiment. You've heard of that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Al Bielek.
According to urban legend, the U.S. Navy conducted an experiment, a secret experiment in 1943 that aimed to make a ship invisible to radar. The USS Eldridge was allegedly involved in teleportation and time travel experiments, leading to bizarre occurrences and conspiracy theories.
And if you're into this kind of stuff at all, do yourself a favor and Google the name Al Bielek. It's Bielek, because he was on Art Bell all the time talking about that Philadelphia experiment, and whether they succeeded or not, there was some horrific shit that happened to these people. So do yourself a favor if you're into that kind of stuff.
I did. I just
look in to see what the U.S. military did to these poor people. They fucked them up bad.
Okay. Yeah, I will. You've heard of this one, the Roswell incident.
Oh, yeah.
So for those of you that may not know this, in July 47, in Roswell, New Mexico, There was a reported crash of an unidentified flying object, i.e., a UFO. While the official explanation provided by the military was that of a weather balloon, many believe, as I do, it was something more mysterious, leading to decades of speculation and conspiracy theories. Let's face it, boys and girls, it was a UFO, which we have Velcro because aliens are real. Just saying.
Oh, we're going to have to go down that road.
Number
then.
3, which I'm sure you've heard of. We will. We'll have to go down that road for sure at some point in time.
Fuck yeah.
Number 3, the Mothman sightings.
Oh, I know all about the Mothman. That's a freaky fucking deal.
Yep. So right. So those of you who don't, in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, during the late 1960s, numerous people reported sightings of a mysterious creature with large wings and glowing red eyes. Dubbed the Mothman, these sightings sparked fear and fascination in the community, with some linking the creature to impending disasters. I think there's a movie, The Mothman Prophecies, right?
Yes, it's a good movie.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. Thought so. Number 2, never heard of this one. The Tunguska event.
The
This
Tunguska.
happened in Russia. It's not in America.
Tunguska.
Tunguska event.
Tunguska.
Tunguska event of
I'm
1908.
aware.
Look at you, like fucking pulling out the proper word.
You're starting to find out what my wheelhouse is.
Man. You're a wordy man. You're a word. Like I can spell people's names like a motherfucker. Like I'll have some. Like the first time anybody told me their name, this gentleman I was working with years ago, he told me his name was Peter Wynn, and I'm like, that's Nguyen, right? He's like, well, yeah. I've always had that weirdness of spelling names, but sometimes pronouncing, like Tungusaka, I couldn't get it.
Tunguska.
You know, like
I've heard these stories forever, dude.
Tunguska. See, I don't know.
You're finding my wheelhouse.
Okay.
I've just heard these stories since I was a little kid.
The top 11, you know. Right on. Okay, so the next one.
Hold on, the Tunguska was what?
That
for
one,
the folks
event.
at home? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That one. That's what I meant. Okay, so although not directly in America, it of the Tunguska event of 1908, which occurred in Siberia, Russia, had strange effects on the atmosphere in North America. It's believed to have caused the air burst of a large meteoroid or comet fragment and caused strange atmospheric phenomena as far away as the United States. I wish they would elaborate on what kind of strange atmospheric phenomena that would be, because that would be cool to know.
So, make a note of this, and we will explore some of these for the folks at home, because these are fascinating stories. Yeah. And I know we're reaching the end, but make a note of this, because these kind of things, people, if you're not into this kind of shit, after we get done researching it,
right,
and being able to do it justice, you will be fucking fascinated at some of the things that have happened on this planet that people just don't have any explanation for, and that's one of them. So, kudos to you for a very good brainstorm idea on the spur
Well,
of
it
the
was
moment.
it was led by you, man. So the number 1 top 11 strange occurrences in America is the Tau hum. Now, is it Tau or is it Taos? Because I think Tau,
New Mexico?
Marshall-y,
It's Taos,
Augustine.
New Mexico.
Yeah. Okay, so Taos, New Mexico. There have been reports of a low-frequency humming sound that cannot be traced to any identifiable source. Described as persistent, low-pitched sound, the Taos hum has puzzled residents and visitors for decades.
Yeah, and it still goes on to this day, as far as I know.
So there you go.
And that's a high-rent district there, man.
Yeah.
Taos.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I think they're famous for their skiing.
Okay.
Kind of like a poor man's
Vale. Taos. Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Kind
of like a poor rich man's.
That makes sense.
Poor rich man's Vale.
Right. Right. Oh, Vail, Colorado. Yes. See, I don't ski. Never been a skier.
Me neither.
I belong on the ground. Well, yeah. So that's what I got. There you go. There's the top 11 things. So yeah, I'll look into the Al Billick guy and I'll read on that and educate myself.
I would definitely like to do some shows on some paranormal shit. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm down, dude.
While I have not
Absolutely
experienced
down,
a
for
ton
sure,
of
for
it
sure, for
myself,
sure.
I know a lot of people who have, and I
Right.
truly believe their stories because these are people that have no reason to lie at all. And when I get their okay to
Yeah.
tell the story or have them tell the story themselves, which would be even better, we will do that.
Yeah. Okay. Right on. I'm cool with
Absolutely.
that, man.
Hopefully, I get my new
All right, well,
internet
boys and
soon.
girls,
And
remember you're not alone. Yeah. And there's no glitches.
yes,
Yeah, no glitches, no glitches. So with that, boys and girls, you're not alone in anything you do. There's always somebody to talk to. So don't be that bozo that fights the unknown fight alone. Reach out to someone you know and love and care for. Now understand, not every time you reach out to somebody are they going to be available to respond back to you. So always have a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D, because you may poke at somebody who's flying to friendly skies and they're not going to be able to see your texts or your phone call for like 3 or 4 hours. So know that, and know there's other people that you can reach out to, right?
yes, we have a
Yes.
inbox that is open 24/7. And to Chris's point, we might not see it in 2 seconds, but one of us is going to see it pretty rapidly because we both get on there every day. So if we're the only people you can reach out to and you're in a bad spot, do that. 100%. Send us a message.
Yep.
And for those of you who are in a
Absolutely.
good spot and you have a unique talent and you would like to be a guest on the show after I get my new internet, reach out to us for that too. The only reason we haven't had a lot more guests is because Mike has
Yes.
bullshit internet. Bullshit to do a podcast. Nothing against the Frontier Corporation as a whole, because they do provide a good download speed,
Right.
but their upload speed sucks.
Right, which is why I upload the videos
To YouTube. Yes. That's why YouTube
to
is
the
Chris's
YouTube.
baby.
To the YouTube. Yep.
Because Mike doesn't have another 6.5 hours to
it's
sit
our
here.
baby.
Oh, you've done a
That's
fantastic
crazy
job, man.
how long. It'll be interesting to see how quick it'll be interesting to see how quick your download speed is once you get the new cable.
It's the upload speed. And it'll be fast as shit. It'll be just as fast as yours.
Speed, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
I won't have to wait at all anymore.
I had Michael Fry. Oh, nice. See, Michael Eugene Fry Jr., Skylar's fiance, he's the one with the Starlink. So he had, on the phone, we put it on the roof, and then the phone, you turn the phone around the sky, and you see all these little dots catching the phone. It's like it's telling the satellites in the space, because that's where the satellites are, kids, in case you didn't know.
Space isn't real.
Where the dish is to track it. According to Little Man, space is real because he wants to be an astronaut and go to the moon.
Okay.
Which I was like, kudos, Little Man, kudos.
I believe Little Man.
Because, I know, yeah. How could you not believe Little Man? He knows when the sun's going up and the moon's coming down. Yeah. Right? Because it's the unaltered understanding of what he learns. There's no questioning it yet, right? Because he's only 4, so he's just fascinated by whatever that is. So that's the fun thing about him. And this fun thing about being small like that and learning and absorbing everything like a sponge. Funny story, I'll leave you with this. So recently, a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, we were in line at the school waiting for the cars to move so his teacher could pick him up. And he says, which was clear as day, but I hesitated to respond, "Let's go, fucking cars." He's 3.5, 3 quarters of the time. So I looked at him. I kind of let it go. And he said something else with fucking in it. And I just looked at him again and I said, "We probably shouldn't say that." Next day we're in line again. And he's like, "Let's go, fucking cars." I'm like, "Anthony?" He's, "Yeah, Pop. I'm like, "We shouldn't say that. That's a grown up word." "Okay, Pop." So to his brilliance, instead of fucking, he said used the word fuck in a sentence. And I'm like, "Anthony, no more of that." So we know where to go with the question of this, because I've now, not that I'm a saint by all means, the furthest from it, but I've made a point since he started absorbing things not to swear, as does Nikki. Like, we'll just say bad word, like, oh, bad word, right? Or we just won't say it. So immediately text my daughter, your son said this, your son said that. Her response was something like, not gonna lie, it's funny. Like, it's not funny. Like, he's 4. We're gonna be 4. This is not something he needs to go to school. Um, you know, and acting like she doesn't say it. Fast forward to yesterday. Outside, he's being a little bit of a brat. Was it yesterday? Saturday. Saturday? Sunday. So he's being a little 4-year-old and kind of being bratty. And I'm like, come on, get off the ground. He was playing, helping Nikki garden and stuff, plant potatoes and whatnot. And he got his little shorts wet. I'm like, his shorts are wet. You should probably change his shorts. And, her response is, well, he's fucking gross. And I tapped her on the shoulder. I'm like, and there it is. There it is. You can never say again, it's not on you. So when you get that call from the principal at any given moment in time, it's all on you for sharing that language with your son. Now, knowing this is not the only parent. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Like, there it is. And all she could do was smile, because she knew there was nothing, absolutely nothing she could say or do that would take that away. Exactly. Fuck. All right, boys and girls. There you go. Yeah, that's a good way to end the show. We'll see you next week. Yes, sir. Yep. Love you, brother. Yep. Everybody have a great day. See you.